Well, 'tis the season for maintenance. It's 7 degrees out here early December in northern Wisconsin, and I don't want to go outside. So today is the day for maintenance and stuff. I've got all the filters I need, but the first item on the list is this Kioti tractor. There's 210 hours on the tractor now. I bought it with 10 hours, and the 200-hour service is one of the levels of doing service on the tractor. So today I need to work on the 200-hour service. That includes replacing the transmission filter, the hydrostatic filter. I'm gonna check the air cleaner, make sure it's clean. If I need to replace it, I will. I'm gonna replace the fuel filter, check all the hoses, radiator, power steering, things like that, make sure there's no leaks. And then check air intake. One of the things is adjust the toe in, but I'm not concerned about it. It's been fine. And then the last thing, part of the yearly service and 200-hour service, is also the oil and oil filter. Before I get to changing oil and filter on this, I need to get this thing warmed up, get it up to operating temperature so that the oil, all the contaminants get out. So what I'm gonna do is jump on the tractor, and I gotta go clean the driveway off because we got a ½ inch of snow overnight. Clean the driveway off, get it up to operating temperature, bring it back in here, drain the oil. So as I mentioned, got this engine all warmed up now. This is a 17 millimeter on the drain pan. Plugs. I'm gonna start with the far one first. Make sure I get the washer, the washer come down with it so I don't lose it. Okay. Looks like the right one. And these are Bobcat filters, not Kioti filters, but you peel off the Bobcat filter sticker, it looks the same exact as the Kioti filter. So I'm gonna puncture the bottom of the filter first, and I'm gonna puncture the top. And we'll let that drain for a while too. While the oil filter's draining, I'm gonna pinch off the fuel line, get the fuel filter off. We got to disconnect the water and fuel sensor. And then we can remove the fuel filter. So I just changed the oil filter. The draining it gets most of the oil out, but there's still going to be a little bit of drippage once you pull the filter off. If you guys want to see the full details of how to do this, check out my 50-hour service video. I go into full detail on everything. So now I've got the fuel filter out. It's actually changed. I got the fuel bowl swapped over to the new filter. But before I put the new fuel filter on, the oil fill plug is right behind it, right here. So I want to actually put the fresh oil in because I can have easy access at that filler hole, and then I'll put the fuel filter on. So I need to put the drain plugs and the oil pan back in, and then we can move forward and fill it with oil. All right, so the specs on this is 1 gallon, 1.6 gallon, or 1 gallon, 2 quarts, 12 ounces. So I got a gallon of the 1540 Kioti lube. I think this will be the last batch. I had some left from last time. This will be the last service to use this. I'll probably move on to some other brand. So I'm gonna put in a gallon first, and then we'll finish off with 2 quarts, 12 ounces to get it up to full specs. We've got the drain plugs in, oil filter on. Last bit is just to add oil. All right, so I put 1.6 gallons of oil in. I'm gonna replace the filler cap. This is why it's easier to do it with the fuel filter out, because it's pretty tight in there. All right. Now we'll return the fuel filter back to its home. I've already lubricated the O-ring. Slide that up, spin it on. Okay. Plug in the water sensor. All my vice grips. The last thing we need to do is remove the bleeder. Here you see the bleeder right there. You can see the full video on the 50-hour service, but remove the bleeder, then pump it so you get the fuel bowl filled back up. So I'm gonna get my wrench, 10 milliliter I think, and we'll get that completed. There we go. We got the oil filter, fuel filter changed, engine oil changed. Just ran it, so then I can let it rest for a little bit and check the oil level. Make sure we're within specs. Now we're on to, I see the coolants right there, so we're right in the middle where we need to be. Now we're on to changing the hydrostatic transmission filter and then also the hydraulic filter. If you're wondering how to get the screens out in front of the radiator, you can see mine's pretty dirty. Just got two wing nuts on top. And they come right off. Set the wing nut to the side, and then the screen will pull right out. Yeah, definitely need to be clean. Put the other one out and we'll vacuum them. I think the other one will come out to the side. Grab onto this tab here. Pull it out. There. Get the vacuum, clean that off. Vacuum down inside there too. Lots of pine needles. All right, we'll replace this filter. I don't know which one it is, but I do know that this one back here on this would be the passenger side, is, I would consider it a gusher. It gushes, not the orange one, I need the gray one. There you go. So, it likes to leak a lot. It continuously leaks. One of the grease points, get you up in here, right up in here, underneath the passenger side, underneath the seat, there's a grease zerk. You can see my fingers on it, right above it, or right below it. I'm not sure what it's for, but that's a grease zerk that needs to be adjusted and greased. All right, here we're on the driver's side, I guess you could call it. I got my other one ready to go. This one doesn't leak as much, but just in case. Get my there. Thread that baby back on, and we'll clean it off. Hydraulic filter's changed. Let it drip dry, and then we'll top off the hydraulic fluid, and then just do some other fastener checks. There's a whole list of things. All right, off camera, what I've done so far is I started it up and I checked moved the boom up and down, went back and forth, moved around to get some hydraulic fluid, hopefully fill those filters back up. So now I can actually check the hydraulic fluid levels down here. And that orange dealio right there. So I'm gonna check the fluid and then take a flashlight to all of everywhere, just make sure there's no leaks. Everything looks good. Check the battery over, look underneath, crawl underneath. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna do is check torque. I'm I'm gonna maybe put a torque wrench or just a big breaker bar on all the wheels. And then same thing with the loader mounting bolts down there. Those are important to do every 25 to 30 hours. Make sure that the loader doesn't come loose. Because I have heard if you lose one of those bolts, very difficult to get back in. So it's 3 up front here, and then 4 on the back side back there. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna do is go around and grease everything. Grease the loader. There's the grease fittings right there under the front and back where the front axle pivots. And then there's that grease fitting back underneath the driver's seat, underneath the passenger wheel or above the passenger wheel axle. So yeah, keep on keeping on. All right, pull the dipstick. It's not a twist, it just pulls right out. Check the level. It's barely on there. So I need to add some. We need to be able to get up to this. There's a line on the dipstick. That's the upper limit, so we should be registering on the dipstick. So I'm gonna get the fluid, get a funnel, we'll add some fluid. All right, we'll check it. Added about a 1/4 gallon or so, somewhere in there. We are coming up about a 1/4 inch on the stick. Add a little more. This is another thing to check when you're doing the maintenance. Even every 50, 100 hours, check these retainers. Like that one was, I got a 1/4 turn out of that one. Go around and check them all, because some of them can be loose and you don't want your pins falling out. Put a little bit of torque on each one just to check them. 12mm socket on this particular tractor to hold in these retainers for the pins on the loader arms. For instance, I went to this one right here on the upper and it was loose. My finger, I can turn it. So it's just good to go through and check all of them. All right, so for the 200-hour service, per the owner's manual, we have to replace the transmission filter, the hydrostatic filter, the air cleaner, the air fuel filter, and then grease the tractor and then the loader. We need to check the engine oil, battery, air cleaner, fuel line, radiator hose, power steering hose and oil line, intake air line, and then adjust the fan belt, clutch pedal free play, brake pedal free play, toe in. But also on top of that, every year they want the engine oil and filter replaced and also replace the air filter, which air filter's fine, I just cleaned it. So with that said, what I did today was pretty much the 200-hour service and then the yearly service with the engine oil. Per the owner's manual, if you're getting up to 400 hours, that's when you would replace the engine oil for the first time, actually the second time. But because I'm not getting 400 hours a year, I'm doing it on a yearly basis. So what I have left now to do is just check things over. I'm gonna grease the whole loader and everything on the tractor and make sure there's no leaks anywhere. And that's pretty much it. So with 214 hours on this tractor so far, we have not had any problems. There's only been one time where I had to call the dealer with an issue. There was a check engine light and it was for water and fuel. All I had to do was drain the fuel filter bowl and that DTC went away. Other than that, it's just been greasing every 10 hours, grease the loader every 10 hours, check the loader mounting bolts, and just doing the maintenance. I did the 50-hour maintenance, 50-hour service, you saw that video, and now I'm doing the 200-hour service. Next big one is gonna be the 400-hour service. But other than that, it's been going steady. It's been one of the best purchases we've made. We get a lot of work done with it around the house, from branches to firewood to yard work. One of the better purchases, and I'm really, really happy we have it. So I hope you learned something from this video. Again, this was a 200-hour service. If you want to check out the 50-hour service, you can check out the video I posted a couple years ago, a year and a half ago or so. Let me know what you think about the Kioti tractor. Thanks for watching.